All right, welcome everybody to another Zoom meeting. So Friday the 17th of September here. Wind's howling outside. I hope you've got nicer weather than I've got. But looking at the weather report, that's kind of doubtful. I think it's the entire state. So lucky we're in lockdown anyway, you can't go out. And we don't want to in this weather anyway. So we'll kick off the meeting with apologies. So far I have Paul Dixon. Has anyone else got any other apologies?
Yes, I have Ron Brush.
No worries. Visitors and new members, have we got any here tonight but just want to pop up and say hello?
Can't see any on the list there.
Hi, Mike here. Thank you for printing my story in the CRCA for the current edition. I was very happy. Thank you.
Oh, welcome along, Mike. Thank you for the contribution. It was a good read. Now, welcome. This is not our normal meetings, but our normal meetings for COVID. So hope you enjoy, Mike. So are you okay? We've got some unfortunate news that's been passed to us. For those that you know, Keith Dodkins, his wife Marie has unfortunately been admitted to Bendigo Hospital with breast cancer. So wishing her the best of health to follow from that. And as you heard before as well, Kevin Stewart's not the greatest and Kathy Telford. So wishing them the best. Is anyone else know of anybody that's not well that we need to give best wishes to?
No, not yet.
Everyone's all right on your street, Graham?
Yep.
Fantastic to hear. All right, so moving on, the minutes of the previous meeting. So as they are printed in the CRCA this month, are there any amendments to be put forth? No, can I have someone move them as true and correct, please?
Bruce
Yeah, I'll
Barton.
move this.
Thank you, Graham. And seconded?
Bruce Barton.
Thank you, Bruce. And all in agreement?
Yep.
Yep. Yay.
So yes, seeing as there's no no's, no worries, moving on. So my report, I don't have much to report in all honesty. I did have the benefit of some good weather. So I was able to get my car out from undercover to give her a bit of a run around. Haven't been able to get the windscreen fixed. The windscreen repair guy actually got stuck in New South Wales. So once he's out of isolation, he'll be able to fix my windscreen and I'll be able to drive her in the rain without getting a wet foot. Outside of that, not much has been happening. We spent a pretty quiet Father's Day here at home. Couldn't go anywhere, but managed to get to speak to my dad as well as the report I put into the CRCA for him. Ever so proud of my dad and grateful that he is my father and everything that he does for me. So if you've got your father still around, or even if you don't, any father that you do know, make sure you reach out and tell them how you feel about them, that they are important in your life, because it's important to them to know that they are and to hear it from you. Outside of that, that's about all that's happening from me. Mark.
Well, I've got a similar absence of much to report on. Unfortunately, there's just not much to organise at the moment, other than the back end office or the back office stuff of getting ready for the AGM and the like, which I'll get onto in a second. But no, most of the stuff that's coming in is being shared around. People know about it, so I've got nothing really affecting the club from a secretary point of view. So let's move on to the notice of annual general meeting. I'll do that one just because that's what I've been preparing for. We've got the AGM next meeting in October, 15th of October. And like last year, it looks like we're going to have to be running this on Zoom, which means if we need to do any elections or vote taking, we'll do it the same way as we did last year, using a feature in Zoom called polling. So we'll do that so that everybody still gets a chance to vote, and we can do all of the formal stuff, which we normally do in an AGM. Listed a few of them there. Obviously, we've got to go through, accept the minutes and the financial statement, minutes from last year, the financial statement from this year, vote on the resolutions that'll carry us on into the next year, and then go through the process of elections for committee members. And as you saw in the magazine, this year we will need to get somebody to fill the role of secretary. I do want to stand down from that position. And certainly we are all out there looking for a volunteer to nominate for the position of secretary. So not sure if you wanted to say any more on that, Rachel, just before I finish up on this slide.
Not overly. If there's a president out there, happy to stand down for them. Not including the CPS, you don't have to worry about taking that on board. It's not part of the president's role, but by all means, if you want to stand up and fill my shoes for me, that would be much appreciated. But if you don't, that's all right, I guess. But you would have noticed that with your magazine, you got this form. So this form is your form of appointment of proxy. So if you're not able to attend but still wish to vote on the night of the AGM for next month, this pink form came with your magazine. So make sure you fill that out and post that in for us. And
the reason that's really important is that in lockdown, while we're doing meetings in Zoom, we are struggling a little bit to get as many people along to the meeting as would normally be able to come in person. And if we don't reach a quorum for the meeting, then legally we can't hold the AGM, and we have to postpone it and organise it again within another month. And it's just such an objectionable process to have to do. So if you're not able to join us on the night, would you please fill in those proxy forms and send them in? And obviously, if there's anybody else that's not on Zoom and you can, you get to catch up with them, which is pretty unlikely at the moment because we're not out there meeting other people either. But we really do need as many proxy forms from the people that are not able to join us on Zoom, just so that we can count those in the numbers, achieve the minimum number, and then proceed with the meeting. Otherwise, it just puts us in a bit of a mess. So we do hover on that minimum number, the quorum. So we got there last year, and it'd be good to be able to do it again this year. So if you could help us out by making sure you don't miss out on voting, that would be great. Also, that came out with your magazine is your blue form. This is your membership renewal. So this doesn't have to be posted in. If there are no changes, just pay the fee. There is an online form that is available from our website. Mark, that's on the... the details are all on that form, and everybody that gets an email will have also got a link to fill in that membership renewal form. So it's a lot easier and quicker for us if you use the online process instead of what I'll call the old-fashioned process of filling in the paper form and then scanning it and emailing it, or putting it in an envelope and posting it. Both of those methods are slower than filling in the online form. If you could do that, that'll help us out a little bit, and I think you'll find it works quite well. Yeah, but yeah, the post office box is still being checked, even under COVID restrictions. So don't stress if you are one of those people that need to post it in. It's getting checked and will get processed, not a problem at all. Right, so we'll move on to the Treasurer's report. Kathy, how are you?
Oh, I'm great, thanks. Okay, so for the end of August, we have $85.26 in PayPal, $34,083.86 in our Westpac account, and in our term deposit, we have $42,882.82, with a total of $77,051.94. Also, we've got some assets in there, which is $2,117.30. And as you can see, we have a total of $79,169.24.
Fantastic. Club's looking good for when we open up to be able to splurge a bit on our members, I think.
Certainly.
COVID. Thank you, Kathy.
No worries.
The events report. So we've all watched this one. Watch the battery go flatter. So those of you that haven't been driving the old girl, burst and sell jump starters if you need. Happy to do you a good deal. We've got the Burson Garage that you can sign up to and get member discounts for that. So shameful plug there for Burson, sorry.
There'll be more of them, don't worry about
There'll
it.
be more of them, get used to it. So this month, unfortunately, we were meant to do the President's Run up to Mr. and Mrs. Smith in Kyneton. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel that due to COVID, but we will get back up there hopefully next year, but it's definitely on the cards to be back in our calendar as soon as we're allowed to be out and about. And future events, there is none planned because we don't know what we can do. We have gone ahead with the planning for the annual tour next year, and we're going ahead with the national rally for next year. So fingers crossed for both of them. We're actually being able to figure out with our government how we can live with COVID-19, just like we live with any other flu or disease. So fingers crossed we can get there and have all those events happen next year without a hitch. But as you can see there as well, our annual display day has been cancelled, unfortunately. And the rest of the year, we're not sure. Fingers crossed we can get together at least in December for a Christmas run, just like last year. So kind of hedging our bets on that one being the next available opportunity. But as you can see there, national rally for next year. So it is in progress. Our next committee meeting is on the 4th of October. The event is the 25th of September to the 2nd of October. That's school holidays for us next year. The entry forms will be released a bit later this month. There is an online process for that as well. And as you can see, we're encouraging online. It does save in the postage fees and delays. And we have received sponsorship for Bursons for this. So we will be sending out invitations to join up to Burson Garage. So as I said before, that gives you VIP discounts to Bursons. It also gives you an email once a month for discounts and promos on items, whether they be service items or whatnot, specific to being a Burson Garage member. So please get on board with Burson Auto Parts as they're helping us run our national rally next year. And as for the rest of the events for the year, stay tuned. We'll make them happen as soon as we're able to. Frank, how are we with the magazine? It was a good one this month. Looks like you got a reasonable amount of content. You there, Frank?
Yep, I am here. Sorry, guys. I can't believe the responses we got to that email Mark sent out with that questionnaire. It's absolutely brilliant. I think we got about 25 responses. The first dozen were within hours of it going out. They were coming through the night, the evening, early morning, and my biggest concern for a while was what the hell I'm going to do with all this, because it'll just take forever to try and get it into magazines if I do only one or two. But so we got some really good ones. We got a couple in last month. There's plenty more to fill the magazine for the next few months. Other content is always appreciated. So if anybody's got any anything else they'd like to see included, or if they've got any ideas for a regular feature of some description, yeah, let us know. But yes, all good. I hope everybody enjoys it or enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I definitely thought it was a good magazine. It's nice to see more input from the members. It's what we want to read in there. So thank you very much, Frank. Job well done.
Thank you.
Mark, would you like to continue with our website and email?
Yeah, so website and emails, this is the side of the communications that I'm more involved in. So the website, at the moment, we've been preparing for the launch of the National Rally. So preparing some new pages there to enable members to follow through the planning between now and September next year, and to be able to make it easy for people to get their entries in for the annual tour with that online process, and make payments by PayPal and credit card and all that sort of stuff. So a bit of work going into that one. So that's a lot of that's there, but sitting waiting to be activated for when we're ready to release the entry form. So that's been happening. And the emails, I've sent a couple out probably to members, but I definitely appreciating the support that I'm getting from David Richards and from Graham Annesley in sending out the other emails that we do throughout the month. So David's scheduled tonight's Zoom meeting and invited you along to it, and he's hosting the meeting. So all of those sorts of things, it's nice to get a little bit of a break from those. And Graham is continuing to send out the monthly MOPAR coffee table email, which is a good summary of a whole range of information that we get through the month. That email goes out and just enables you to access all of that at a time of your choosing without having to find a dozen emails. They're all in the one email, along with links to recordings of previous meetings and so on and so forth. So I hope that you find that they're working out well for you. But yes, definitely appreciating the help from the others on that. So I think that's all going fairly well.
They're not working well on our end. So no, thank you very much to all of you. So moving on to a membership. So as we said earlier, member services, sorry, wrong frame. Merchandise, it is still available even though we're in lockdown. So if you'd like a t-shirt, a stubby holder, a cap or a bottle opener or a jacket, feel free to drop a line to committee and we can organise getting one out to you if you like. Same as the library and tools. Tom is in charge of that, but we are still able to lend you out the books and whatnot. Same thing, we just go down to the library and we'll post it out to you. So feel free to drop us a line and see if there's anything that you would like there. Available on the link on our website is the full register of our libraries. So have a look through that and see if there's anything that you want to borrow or any merchandise that you'd like to buy. Now memberships. So as we said earlier, so membership renewals, they are due by the end of the month. And they were sent out with this month's magazine or via email if you're online only. So make sure you click the renewal process, especially if you've got a vehicle on CPS, so to make sure that you can maintain that vehicle. Thank you very much goes to Bruce Barton for managing these renewals. So far, he is doing a stellar job. Bruce, did you want to say a word at all?
Just open up my microphone. Yeah, no, they're going really well. We're sort of getting them the bank statement and the PayPals, and they're virtually getting receipts that night. So that's good. But I do have a couple of worrying situations when people do pay, especially, of course, with transferring. They're not putting their name on the transfer, and they're not putting their actual membership number, which presents a little bit of a problem. I've got one here, which was on the 14th of September. It's got marked here, first bank first, 40473, and it's a payment for $60. We've got no idea who that is. So if that is you, please send us an email so we can fix that one up. And the other one, what I've got is a deposit, and for $60, 001693. So either one of those, please let us know so we can fix those up because it's just a needle in a haystack.
Okay, I'll probably help you out with that last one, Bruce. That's one of the scenarios where the bank has done the transfer for the person, and that number is probably the membership number.
All right, 1693.
So see if you can match that up with one of the renewal forms that have come in.
Yeah. No worries. Thanks for that, Mark.
Yeah, it does happen every year that some payments come through with not quite enough information on them. So a fine point to make, Bruce, to make sure that you put your name, or if you're doing a bank deposit inside the bank, to use your membership number or your mobile number, something that we can marry up into the database.
Name or the membership number would be great.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, you'll be getting an email or a letter in the mail saying that you haven't paid, even though you have. So just make sure you put the correct information there.
There's only 2 at this stage, so that's not too bad. out of the couple of hundred we've already done. So.
Oh, fantastic job. And we welcome new members to this month, John Nicole and Keith van der Zijn. So welcome to those new members. All right, the club permit scheme. So you would have noticed in the magazine that we have updated the club bylaws number 2, the CPS. So this is released by committee. So the changes that I've made to those have been approved by committee. The changes of that are available on the website. If you're unable to download it and you wish to have a copy, please let us know and we can send you out one. Basically, we've just included the M plates, so the modified plate system to it. We've added putting motorcycles onto the club permit scheme and the online process that we use now for renewals that Vic Roads introduced. So it's just updating it to the new times. It's not changing any of the rules or regulations to it. So Vic Roads have also advised that CPS regulations have changed. They did send out a notice to that effect, and I have it here. So you would have noticed in the classifieds in the Herald Sun that this was posted out. Not a lot has changed as such as yet. So they are maintaining registration at 25 years, even though there was a consideration to 30. Reinserting regulations relating to the Hazardous Area Authority. So these requirements to remain in the proposed regulations until corresponding amendments are to be made. And amending the penalty amounts for certain offences under the proposed regulations. Regulations in regards to written off vehicles, light vehicles or light trailers and gas fittings, and eligibility for registration concession. Those changes have been put forward, so they haven't come into effect just yet. But jump on the Vic Roads website, their full statement is available there. Just on that, did anyone have any questions before I move on?
And that's just
There has been something out from Vic Roads more recently than that one, Rachel, where they talk about having put forward something about replicas as well, and also that they're really grumpy about clubs that appear to be handing out pre-signed forms for the members to complete, and they're fronting up to Vic Roads with those in there. So there's now a new rule about that, and there's also, they did implement the one about having the authority to ask you to present a vehicle before they give you a permit if they think there's something sus. So there's been a few changes, but the 25-year rule sounds like it's going to go in as a piece of law separate to Vic Roads. Yeah, but that was a separate thing from Vic Roads itself.
Yeah, that CPS one, so that's more ownership on the club permit team that we've got here that signs the permits to ensure that we are filling them out correctly, that all the information is on that form before we sign it. Because, yeah, as Frank just said then, Vic Roads have been receiving forms that aren't filled out correctly, with the incorrect information on it or just incomplete. And it does put the club at risk of losing the ability to provide a club permit if the club is found to be filling out these forms incorrectly. So our team has been advised. We all got that email. So rest assured that if we ask you for more information, it's so that we can maintain our integrity on the scheme and be able to provide the club permits to everybody in our car club rather than one person not quite having the correct information. So we will stay above board with that and be able to provide it for you. So moving on to general business. Frank, if you attended the AOMC meeting,
Yep.
a bit of an update?
Yep, just probably 5 minutes worth of chat. Remembering that this was before the official announcements for Vic Roads about what was going to happen. So some of what they discussed is fairly irrelevant. One of the issues was that John Lewis, who seems to be the Vic Roads liaison officer with AOMC, was not in a position to make any statements for a couple of weeks because they wanted the minister to announce it first. The people at the meeting were upset about clubs that don't have meetings that are just set up for CPS. It's sort of upsetting the traditional clubs a bit. One of the issues that they raised and they seemed to go on about was that there are clubs that charge money for initial permit issues as well as re-signing of permits. And I think a few of the people at the OMC meeting have the opinion that this only happens with shonky clubs. Well, that's not right. They probably need to look around a bit closer. I know of at least 3 other clubs that are definitely not shonky, Australian Street Rod Federation being one, who charge for re-signing as well as for initial permits. So just because they're charging a fee does not make them shonky. The Australian Historic Motoring Association are having an AGM. They, I think, are a bit of a opponent to the AOMC, and apparently the AOMC is not very happy about their lack of federal representation. The AOMC reckons that they are actually keeping their head above water because people are paying for engine number records. That's what's keeping them above their heads above water at the moment, because a lot of clubs, I think they may have given clubs some leniency with playing membership or something, but they certainly haven't been able to run any fundraising events, which they run 2 or 3 a year, which seem to keep them going. But yeah, lots of money coming in from the engine number records. They stated the obvious. Lots of clubs, well, sorry, not the obvious, but lots of clubs, they say, are still getting new members, and we know that that's the case. The obvious was that there's lots of Zoom meetings. The less obvious is that they still believe that older people can't do Zoom, so they're wondering whether Zoom is ever going to take off. I think they're hiding in the bushes somewhere. An interesting one was the Peninsula Car Club is sending on the AOMC magazine to all members. They're forwarding it. I think I raised that at a recent meeting. But they're, the Peninsula Car Club sends the AOMC magazine that comes in out to all their members. And I think we do the same through the coffee table.
Yeah,
Correct.
yes, we certainly do.
Yep. So Shannon's American show has been cancelled. There is some funding from the RACV. Everybody's been going on about the RACV not funding historic car clubs and things like that. But apparently there is some funding. It's in smaller chunks of money, but they won't look at anybody if you don't have an ABN to put in a proposal. So AOMC is actually trying to find a way to act as an intermediary for clubs that don't have an ABN to apply via them and get the funds passed on. The British and European Day is basically the next event that's firm, and that's February the 22nd. So there's not a hell of a lot else for this year. Florence Thompson run. I don't know if anybody knows anything about that one, but that's a run that's been organised by might be the VDC and CRCA, and it's mostly to persuade women to get in the old cars, and that was a weekend run. It now looks like being a it was run by the RACV. Now it will be run by the AOMC, and it most likely will be a one-day event. The next big show that they're hoping to do, AOMC that is a show called the Classic Showcase. And it will be a non-generic show, so whatever mark wants to turn up, and probably somewhere on the peninsula. So that sounds like Mornington Racecourse or something like that. That seems to be the pick of the places found that way. It will be supported by the RACV. Again, almost every show and national rally for 21 has been cancelled. One interesting one was that the Early Holden Car Club had an annual tour scheduled for the 23rd of October. And the people that they had paid meal deposits and accommodation deposits to are refusing to refund those deposits. So the big one, there was a chap, Rod, somebody at the meeting, and they were talking about the changes that were still proposed. And the big one that seemed to take up a lot of time was the definition of a replica. And at the moment, it's got something to do with VSB 1433. It's got to be an individually constructed vehicle as close as practicable in size and looks to the original. The problem is that if it's actually a replica, it has no hope of passing VSB 14 or 33 because they talk about the torsional strengths and seatbelt anchorage points and gamut of things that you know, are post 70 or 80, and not many people are doing replicas of vehicles that were built in the 70s or 80s. They're all much, much older. The only couple of cars that would survive VSB 14 would be something like a Cobra or a GT40, because they're really a lot of those are turnkey, or at least very, very good kits. There was one chap at the meeting who had a bee in his bonnet about a Holden 1-tonner which had a Dodge cab on it. And it's a legitimate on-end plates. Everything's been done right. I know the vehicle, and but he's happy to try and stir shit up for the bloke who owns it because he reckons it's wrong. There was mention of people putting on very late model cars and calling them replicas. Some bloke apparently got a mid-2000s Commodore and said it was a replica of a GTS from 1968. Someone else has supposedly got a Mini on, saying that it was a Mini Cooper, so they were built in 66 or 67, whatever it was. And the other ones, the motorcycles that were coming out of India, Enfields, I think they are. They seem to be one that has slipped through the gap. That was about it.
Yes, the wonderful world of replica. It's always going to be a can of worms, that one. I don't think you're ever going to please both sides of the fence with any of it.
No, coming up with a description that makes sense and everybody can live with just seems to be impossible.
Yeah, it has been for a very long time.
Yeah, but if as they pointed out, if you apply VSB 14 or VSB 33, that beautiful Mercedes that's worth $100,000 a piece that's sitting at Tridell Museum, the cycle car, wouldn't pass. You know, and that is as true a replica as you can find.
Yeah. Regulations, they're fun, aren't they? All right, so garage gossip, including looking around your home garage. So if anyone's braving this weather and sitting out in their drafty garage, or whether they have a wonderful man cave that's got nice warm heating so they can sit out there and look at their old girl. Hope someone's there tonight so that we can have a look. But as you heard earlier, my garage gossip is just the fact that my windscreen still leaks and I get a wet foot. So it'll get fixed at some point. Has anyone else got any other garage gossip? Mark, how are you going with your restos?
Very slowly. No, my biggest exercise was to clear some space in the garage so I can actually move things around and work on them. So I'm now honing up on my MIG welding skills and panel beating and trying not to make a mess of what I've got, but it's got less holes in it now than it did before. So making some progress.
Well, making space is some of the hardest progress. So well done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you've got another room for the sewing machine then?
No, that wasn't involved in this.
Sorry, guys. Anyone got any other garage gossip? I'll get Mark out of that hole.
G'day, Rachel.
Tell me, how are we?
I'm going good, thank you. I've got a little bit. Ken Lincoln put me onto these electronic distributors for the old 30s cars. And I purchased 3, 2 for myself and 1 for Mick Mallory. Over the last 2 weeks, I've put them in. And what an improvement. I'd say 5 horsepower more. Better pickup, easier starting. Very impressed, very impressed. But I also, I've had the motor going for a bit over 12 months now in my 1936 Chrysler. And I drove it last Thursday for the first time. Just around my front yard, but still it went. So it's going quite good, and we'll go hopefully get some more work done in the next couple of weeks.
I see nothing quite like getting out for a drive, even if it is a little one out the front.
Yeah, well, that's right. But like I said, first time I've driven the car, it's an unusual car because it's badged Chrysler, but it's a Plymouth. And it was made in England, so a Q in England. And it's got quite a few weird little features. You know, banjo steering wheels, and it came originally 12 volt. This is in 1936. So it's got some, some interesting little features about it.
That sounds good. Mark, we might drop down this share screen for the moment if we can and see if
Yes.
anyone else has any garage gossip.
Still.
John?
Oh, yeah, I sorted out my problem that I spoke to you guys about last week. My distributor is died, and it's the total replacement of it is what's required to get the car going in. And I ring good old Burson's, Venture Gully, and Max is sorting it out for me. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Glad we could help.
Thanks.
Any other garage gossip from anybody? I know Kevin Cook's waiting on a water pump, waiting on it to come in to confirm it's correct.
Yeah, I haven't got a garage at the moment.
We're mid moving points.
Yes, mid-moving. Nearly there. I took it up to Bendigo this morning and dropped it off at a friend's place.
Yeah.
So
Nice drive.
next week we have a garage. Sorry?
That would have been a nice drive today in the wind.
It was very hairy. A few ruts in the road, didn't know where we were going to land, but
No police interventions asking why you're outside your 5K zone?
no, there was only one. No, we had all the proper paperwork to cover us because we had to do the house inspection.
Yep.
And the only police car we saw had an old dump car pulled over on the side of the road. So that was it for the whole day.
That was easy.
They're all probably on the Hume.
Any other garage gossip from anyone? No, cars and parts. Tommy, do we still need a hubcap? No, you're on mute, Tom. Good chat he's having with himself. Tommy, you're on mute. No, he can't hear us either.
You're on mute, Tommy. Yeah, on mute.
Is it working now?
There it is. Yep.
Working now.
Yeah, so I'm still looking for hubcaps. Yes, I'll eventually get them.
Well, you eventually got your horn, so we have all faith in you for getting your hubcaps.
Oh yeah, look, like I say, I only need one more Plymouth one, and then I don't need a full set of Plymouth ones. I haven't got, but I need one more Dodge one. I need a full set of Chrysler ones, but for wire wheel. So I'm getting there. I've got a bloke actually in South Africa that I'm talking to at the moment. So hopefully.
Yeah, that's all right. That's only next door. Should be right.
Yeah, he speaks English. That's all I need.
That's a benefit. That's a benefit.
Yeah.
Anyone else need any cars or parts?
One question I've got, has anybody got some mounts for rear tail lights for a 36 Dodge Coupe, the actual mount? I don't need sedan ones. I need ones for a convertible or a coupe. Two of them.
Good luck.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're getting a lot of blank stares tonight, Bruce, but maybe the call gets put out there in the minutes.
Yeah, maybe Tommy didn't hear it.
Might have put himself on mute again.
Yes.
Any other cars and parts? No, all right, we'll move on. Mark, would you like to do the next introduction?
Yeah. On there. Okay, so we're moving on to guest speaker. So tonight we've got one of our own members, Valley Grunt, being both Shane and Ermi, who are going to give us a story about the availability of Chrysler power steering boxes.
They will forever now be known as Shermy. Sorry, I had to interrupt.
Yeah.
Shermy. That's a good combination.
Yeah, it works.
Right.
So we're going to now stop sharing this so that we can go to Ermi, wherever Ermi is.
I'm here.
There you are.
Hello. Hang on, no, I'm just trying to figure out how to turn the volume up because we can't hear you very well. Sorry.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us all right?
We can certainly hear you.
Certainly hear you, yep.
There we go, fixed it. All right. So we'll just show Shane, he can do the talking. So let me flick it around. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's better. There you go.
Now, as some of you probably know, we are manufacturing Chrysler power steering boxes for S series right through to CM Valiants. Obviously, there's a few different bulb patterns in those, but I've had a few customers ask for power steering in the past for slant 6 cars, and as you know, with slant 6s, there's not a great deal of room for a power steering box, because this is a factory power steering box that we have here. And as you can see, it's quite a behemoth of a thing, and weighs as much as almost like a small block Ford. But anyway, this is the steering box here. Now, that's it, how it comes, and it's a totally Australian-made casting. Now, as a reference, as you can see here, this is a manual steering box. Now, as you can see, in dimensional size, it's almost the same size, apart from the section here is slightly longer to house the power steering hoses. Now, the benefit of this steering box is it's 15:1, as well as the steering box. A few of the extra features is that it's not a light touch sort of steering. These are very, very light. So as you're driving down the road, they're feather light. So they're quite touchy when you're driving down the road. These have got more like the feel of a manual box when you're driving down the road, but when you go to park it, it feels nice and light. Another one of the benefits is it's all brand new, so you don't have to worry about everything wearing. And as anyone that's has one of these steering boxes, they're quite hard to get seals for the main shafts now, unless you've got the 1.25 sector shaft. You can still buy the seals for them, but not for the 1.8". Now, this just takes your original manual style and early power steering style pitman arm. We use a half coupler here, which just slides onto there. If you've got a power steering column, we place one of these spacers, as you can see here, and that spacer sort of sits in like that into the coupler and sort of bolts together. If you've got a manual steering car, you have two choices. You can either put a vibration dampener in there and not run the half rag joint, or you can cut, if you're capable, you can cut the end of your shaft off of your manual steering column and re-weld it shorter. But I don't recommend doing it unless you're very
qualified.
Yeah, all qualified. Yeah. But as you can see, dimensional wise, this steering box is actually physically smaller through here than the manual box, as well as on this end here. So if you've got a high performance Chrysler, or if you've got a Hemi conversion in your Chrysler, at least you can have power steering and have that creature comfort.
This one fits better with your extractors as well.
Correct. So a lot of guys are running those new pacemaker headers, and the new pacemaker headers are a lot larger in diameter, and they physically don't fit with the old power steering boxes. And me being, I like my creature comforts, decided it was time to invent these. So these are based off a Holden Rodeo sort of design box. So it's quite capable of carrying the weight. They're already engineered in New Zealand. We're still going through engineering here in Australia, but it should be.
You don't actually need them certified here because they're bolt-on.
Yes.
So they've been designed with engineers, but because they're bolt-on and you're not modifying your chassis or any of your steering or suspension components, they don't actually need to be, they pass roadworthy.
Yes.
So, yes. And Victoria is one of the hardest states to get roadworthies through.
There has been problems in the past of steering boxes with weld-on brackets and stuff like that, which there's a few different ones where they've got a welded-on bracket from a XF Falcon that they're using in balance. But obviously the issue with that is it's all welded.
And these are cast. Yeah. So they're a brand new box cast.
Here in Dandenong. So they're cast in Dandenong. They're machined in Dandenong.
And they're just all made in Victoria.
Yeah.
So you can run your original pump, or you can run aftermarket Borgeson pump, or you can run an electric pump. It's up to you.
Now also too, come for a walk, and we'll show you one in the car so you can have a look.
Well,
we'll actually show you Ernie's Chrysler by Chrysler. So if you come through here.
Figured we've got two cars with them fitted in at the moment. It's a bit easier to show you while they're in. So mine's up on the hoist. Yep.
So as you can see here, there's your original pitman arm, and there you can see the adapter bolted on there.
Sorry, my phone is flipped on me, so bear with me.
So this is how it sits in the engine bay. As you can see, there's plenty of clearance for the original torsion bars, and also too the upgraded torsion bars, because there was a few issues with guys with the upgraded torsion bars that are a little bit heavier in design, having clearance issues with the steering box. And as you can see here, I can easily fit my finger in here around the steering box, where before you couldn't do that. So now that's it looking from underneath. Now if we go around here, we'll just go past the Firebird. We've got to go past the Firebird.
You wanted to see what was in our garage.
Get past the
Buick
47
that's
Chevy,
up here.
Get past the Buick. And underneath the Firebirds, we have another valley, as you can see here. And this sort of gives you a view from the top, so you can sort of see what it looks like from the top.
You can get your clearances if you can sort of, sorry, bear with me. My camera phone has reversed everything, so it's a bit awkward filming that way. There you go. So, yeah, boxes we're also making for, because I know a lot of you guys have other cars as well. So they're available. Also, we make boxes for XY Falcon, FE all the way to HG Holden, and the Tri-5 Chevs in right-hand drive, so 55, 6, 7 Chevs as well. So, yeah.
Yes,
That's
also too, with the Holden ones, I don't know if you've got any friends that have early Holdens. As you know from HKTG Holden, they had a Ram style power steering, and they were quite unreliable, always leaked. And again, they were like the Chrysler, they were feather light and too many turns to left to right. This steering box again, 15-1, based on the Holden Rodeo box, but obviously all the internals are different, or sorry, new. But you have the beauty of an integral power steering box with no control valves and power rams hanging underneath and hoses underneath your car. It's just a nice, clean steering box unit that fits with ease. The only thing is with the Holdens and the Fords, there has to be modification done to the column that's quite extensive. You have to actually cut the column back. So, as the case of Holden and the Ford, if you've got column shift, the column shift has to be removed. It has to be a floor shift car, or if you've got column auto, we can do an adaptation so you can run a shifter cable instead of the mechanical linkage.
Okay. And I've got one Ford box in stock. All of my Holdens are gone, so I'll just give you a quick look at that.
They're being made at the moment, so there's some coming back in stock at the moment.
Holden's one's still be in by the end of the year. So, and that's one of the Ford boxes. So yeah, that's it. See if I can turn this back around. Ooh, maybe
Would
not.
you like me to put up the slides that we had to finish?
Yep, sure. And we'll just run through it. I think we covered everything. Yep. So yeah, they're made in Australia.
So if you have any questions,
Yeah,
feel free to ask.
they're made in Australia. Modern power steering internals. Get a lot of people asking me the pressure. Whoa, can you not do that?
I got to turn it off.
There we go. Better?
Yes.
Shane was fiddling with his.
Little bit of
Told you not to touch it. So the prices for the box is they're $2,950 for the box. You've got half rag joint and the spacer uni joint, and I've got prices for aftermarket pump from Borgeson and bracket, which is $495 for the pump and $175 for the bracket. Plus, we've been posting everywhere. Actually, it's been selling a lot to New Zealand. So, yeah. Oh, Lee wants to know about the timing. The timing set behind you.
Oh, the timing set. This one.
Hang on. I'll flip the camera again.
All right,
I don't know if Mark will put me up.
there you go.
Right?
So this is for the true Mopar performance sort of guy that wants to go really fast. This is a Mopar belt drive kit that we sell here. This is made here again, made here in Australia by
Like supporting
A&B belt drives.
Australian Muscle Parts.
Yep, they do it for Holden and Ford small block.
Yep.
But the best part about these Chrysler ones, they do it for tall deck Chrysler, low deck Chrysler small block, as well as tall deck 440 and low deck, say 383 or up to 400. So these are quite unique. A lot of people say, oh, what's the benefit of having a belt drive unit? Well, it removes the engine harmonics through the belt train. So you get a smoother engine RPM, as well as with these, which I've watched on the dyno, which is quite a unique feature. Everyone talks about variable cam timing these days. With these units, you can set them up. So as an example, you've got 4 degrees of initial timing, so you get good performance down low. One of the good things about this is as the RPM gets higher, these actually pull the belt quite tight. And as the RPM gets higher and higher, they actually retard the timing. And as you know, you need to retard initial cam timing to get good performance up high. So that's one of the benefits that it has.
So a lot of the serious drag races, they run these.
Yeah.
So, and people go, oh, how long do the belts drive? Well, these guys have been doing passes for 2 years and the belts haven't gone. So
Yeah, they're a Kevlar belt. So as you can see here, if you look closely, they're a Kevlar lined belt. But again, made in Australia, which is great. We need to support everything that's made in Australia as much as humanly possible. But yeah, here's a
and there's one for Ford. He does them for Chev as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other questions? I'm going to try and flip this again. There we go. Oh. Yeah, any other questions on any of that? Shane will answer them for you.
I'll both answer.
Yep. All right.
No, yes, no, maybe.
If anyone has a question, please feel free to ask.
You must have covered everything.
Okay.
Been answering that many of these questions. I think I know everything that people ask now.
Yeah, I like my steering box. It gives me good muscles. Gives me something to curse at when I can't get out of the bloody car park at the supermarket.
I like my soft muscles.
Oh no, I've got them too.
As I'm getting older, I'm enjoying my power steering. So.
Sorry, Shane. What were those prices again for roughly as a kit?
So you've got
just for a belt.
So you've got $2,950 for the box. If you've got power steering, you've got $179 for the half rag joint and $80 for the spacer. There you go. And you can just run your OEM pump if you want and your pulley, but if you don't have one, you can get a Borgeson aftermarket one. The pump is $495 and the bracket set is $175. Or you can get an electric power steering pump, which a lot of people are using the Astra ones, the Holden Astra ones, and they're just mounting them in the boot.
Oh, or an inner guard. A Chrysler, you mount them on the inner guard. I got one on the inner guard of my Cuda.
So not much change out of about $4,000 for a kit.
No.
That's all right.
Oh, not really. Not for the Valiant ones. No.
The Valiant ones.
Plus 179. You got about
closer to $4,000. Yep.
Yeah.
There's not much change out of $4,000. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
And you keep them in stock, or is it special orders, or?
At the moment, we're making them as fast as we're selling them.
Yes,
Right.
that's one of the downsides. Australian manufacturing's picked up quite a lot, so we sort of got to push our way in the line, if you know what I mean, to try and get this stuff made.
We're getting boxes running through the foundry every month. Initially, we were just going to make 10 and see how it went, and they sold within 2 weeks. So they went really quickly. The HK ones go even faster.
One consolation though, if anyone needs a surplus of original factory style OEM power steering units, I have a surplus of them that I sell very, very cheaply now. And I mean, I have a surplus.
There's a lot.
Yes.
The Holden guys really, really suffer because really they just have a poor steering system to begin with.
Yeah,
and
like a
their-
forklift.
And their only alternative they had before after that was rack and pinion. And
Yeah. And when you consider rack and pinion, like a lot of the Chrysler guys have been doing, because for some of the Chrysler guys, they found that the manual steering is a little bit too heavy, and they're starting to be hard to find boxes and getting them repaired at the moment. So, and a lot of them are passing roadworthies. And with the power steering, they found that it's too light and too floaty when you get to speed. So these boxes are just sort of ticking all the boxes. Also, too, the guys that are converting to rack and pinion, honestly, telling you the truth, I haven't found a rack and pinion setup yet that I could actually say is really good. Because of the size of the rack and how low it has to be mounted underneath the torsion bars, there's issues with bump steer. Now, normally to alleviate bump steer when you've got a rack that hangs a little bit lower, is what you can do is you can put a rose joint with an extended bolt off the bottom of the ball joint on the lower control arm, and you can lower it and get the bump steer sort of half reasonable. But there's still issues with setting all that up. You still have problems with them sketching left and right. And when you set them up and you get them set up right, you find that rose joint sits so low, it almost sits as low as the rim. And a lot of engineers just won't pass them. The only other alternative is to remove your torsion bars altogether and go like a coil over system, like some of these systems that they sell in America. But with Australian roads, a lot of these front end kits are literally falling apart. I'm actually removing them out of cars and going back to OEM suspension arms. They didn't create suspension arms that were pressed out of one piece of steel for no reason and riveted. A lot of these suspension arms that you buy that are tubular and welded just can't handle our roads, and they fall apart.
My suspension's good. Steering's heavy when the wheels aren't pumped up high enough, but it's all good.
put front runners on it. That'll fix it.
Yeah, 100 feet aside, I'll fix that.
I just kick the kids out of the back and then it'll go faster. Well, thank you very much, guys. That was great. Great chat with you. Thank you for running us through your steering boxes and whatnot. So hopefully there's some people out there that want to stop working out every time they drive their car and go on down and see you. All right, so speaking of, can you help with the next meeting? Because we'll probably be online. So if you can present anything, it doesn't have to be as in-depth and as informative as what Shane and Amy have just given us, or I should say Shammy. But anything about your, sorry guys, it's just going to stick. Even if it's just a slide of your car, or an interesting holiday destination, anything historical about our car club or prizes in general, even if it's something that you found online, shoot us a link and we'll pop that up for the next meeting. Probably have something short for next month, being that we've got the AGM as well, but don't be shy. Let us know if you've got anything or want to help out. Mark, on to you.
It's time for the door prize. So this is where I need to bring up my other screen. Now I'm lost again. There we go. This one here.
Waiting.
Yeah, I know. Give us a go.
I'm getting old and grey.
Is that right? Are you seeing the pick a random name?
Yes, we are.
Very good. Okay, so let's press the button and we'll go through all the people that are here, and
Hey,
congratulations, Brendan. Right. So Brendan will get a $30 gift card, strangely enough, from Burson.
Congratulations, Brendan.
Yeah, thank you for coming along, and that worked out pretty well. Right.
No.
Thank you very much, Mark. Congratulations, Brendan. We'll get that gift voucher out in the mail for you. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us at our blustery September meeting. Good to see you all, even if it is on the computer screen instead of in person. Thank you to everybody that helped run this meeting. So David Richards in particular, Mark Fenton. As it says, online does not happen easily. Well, it happens easily for some, and it's certainly not for me. I just sit here and talk. So thank you very much, everyone. Feel free to stay around for a bit of a yarn and a cuppa with everyone else. Otherwise, thank you very much and see you next month.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you. I do have a little bit of entertainment just to.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
My apologies.
So here we go, a safety message to start off with. Sorry, that wasn't entertainment, that was a message.
Wow. That was a bit full on, that ending.
Yeah, sorry.
I was sitting there having a chuckle at stupid people.
Yeah, the last one wasn't very funny.
You need to concentrate and read this one.
Not sure that he would.
Do you know where the vacuum is?
Yeah, of course I know where the vacuum cleaner is. I mean, get the vacuum cleaner.
And poof, it appears like magic.
Er det ikke mulig å få starta denne støvsugeren? أبطال الدعس الدعس أبطال الله لا يوفقك يا أبو طلال الله لا صحيح مال.
There you go, a couple of safety messages there for you.
Well, the brakes work, so that's all right.
So that's it. So yeah, thanks for joining the meeting tonight.
Yeah, thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it.
Things on tonight, so that went quite well, I think.
Yep.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone.
No problem.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care, everyone. Good night.